not so erasable because I still have shit on here from last week. So look, here's my thing.
And you froze again.
Your mom froze.
There you go.
Yeah, they are not great, man. You got to use you got to get some of those alcohol swabs or whatever.
John and Cliff forever.
Yeah, so that part stayed there. I was able to change some of the things.
What a nerd.
So here we start. Welcome back to the All Angles podcast. Our only listener we have is now our guest today. So Adam, thank you for your patronage. I guess
That means your viewership is going to go way down now.
we're plummeting 100%.
You are plummeting.
Adam here is a good buddy of mine. Probably, I hate to say the biggest name for it, but right now, who's doing more for the MS community than Adam as far as talking? He's talking all over the place. He had the National MS Society actually at his home filming him through his workouts. And it was great to bring him on today because Cliff doesn't know a ton about MS. In fact, Cliff, what'd you say your knowledge of MS is limited to?
My knowledge of MS, and as I told you, I'm watching the series again, is from The West Wing.
So Cliff's got some stuff to learn. But
Yes.
like I said to Cliff, and Adam's heard me say this a billion times, is the more I learn about MS, the less I know.
That's fair. That's completely fair. I mean, you're not so far off from what I knew when I got diagnosed because I didn't know anything at all. I knew of one person that I knew that had it, and that was the extent of it.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it can kind of be based on how it's affecting them too. So some people, MS doesn't look like it's that big of a deal. And then you have other people like Adam that can actually really affect them, where I make jokes about him, but we're not going to repeat those jokes. Adam's given me permission to say them when we say them.
I'm sure we will repeat them at some point, though.
John, we're only on episode 4. We can't get canceled yet.
Not recording. Hey, we've made it past that 3 episode threshold, so we're cruising right now. We're killing it. So, but Adam, welcome. I talk to Adam all the time, but it's still pretty great to have him on here for this. And
Thanks. Our first guest
is our first guest. Let me tell you, we look nice as a throuple right now.
We do.
we have ludicrous tattoos and what hair?
Bizarre
hair.
Bizarre hair.
And his tattoos. Show some of your tattoos, Adam. He has one or two of them.
Those ones are incredible. That one I got in Montana, which was amazing.
Oh, where in Montana?
Kalispell.
Oh yeah, I coach in Missoula. Every city you've mentioned to me so far, I think I've coached there.
I want to put down some roots there, Cookie. Adam has one tattoo specifically I hate, but
oh yeah, this one,
the spider.
Oh yep, John loves spiders.
No. You wouldn't even have had to see it.
No,
Cliff.
No,
there's another one too. It's up.
I did not need to see the spider. John and I are in agreement. John and I are in agreement on a lot, but we're in agreement on that one.
Oh, it's over here. It's over there somewhere.
I didn't know you had another one of those. Yeah. You know what's funny though? When Cliff and I lived in New Mexico and we were coaching out there, the scorpions didn't bother me.
They were these little, like literally like that big, and they were clear. It was the weirdest thing.
They're the glow in the dark ones.
Yeah.
The little ones are the ones you got to worry about, though.
That's what I said.
Yeah. They didn't.
It didn't bother him for some reason. They freaked me out.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered. When we first moved into that place, those things were everywhere. In the house.
Yeah. We had to get a pest control guy out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But I was fine. But the moment I saw a spider, man, the world was ending.
Yeah, we're burning that house down.
Like, burn it.
Yep. Yeah.
Burn it.
Yeah. Even my dog didn't want to deal with the spiders out there. So, but so I know a lot of Adam's story here, and I want to kind of have Adam retell it again, just for hopefully we'll get a new listener for that person, but also for Cliff, and just kind of not just talk about how you got diagnosed, but just notice some of the things you started noticing before.
Right. Yeah. So even with that, my story is different from other people with MS, because most people you talk to say, I got diagnosed on this date, but I could look back and see symptoms for 10, 15 years that just got looked over. Like, that wasn't the case for me. I was 2018, the summer of 2018, I was completely healthy. I was working, I was playing sports. I worked for UPS as an on-road supervisor, working 12 hours a day, walking 10, 12 miles a day, no problem. And me, my brother-in-law, and our older buddy Dave, he was like 70. I think he's like 70. just the three of us did a roof on his house. So I did that the summer of 18. Come to October, I was working in Columbus. We're helping open a new building, and my feet started to hurt really bad. And I was like, whatever. I bought new boots on my feet 16 hours a day. That makes sense. Wrote that off. Didn't think anything of it. Christmas time comes around, and it's Christmas time at UPS, which sucks, as you can imagine. And I was just like, my legs feel numb and cold, and they're not really responding like they used to. And of course, I wrote that off because I was like, well, why wouldn't they? I'm out in the cold 12 hours a day. They're going to feel cold and numb. So like the first 2 symptoms I wrote off completely. And then Christmas Eve, I was at my sister's, and I had this just horrible groin and lower back pain. Like I could barely walk. My sister gave me a TV, and that TV stayed in my car for 2 weeks because I couldn't walk it up my 1 flight of steps into my apartment because that's how much pain I was in. So that's what actually got me to go to the doctor. So I go to my regular doctor, and he says, I don't know, you might have a hernia. We'll send you to a hernia specialist. So I'm like, great, hernia, that'll be fun. So I go to this hernia specialist, and to this day, I still don't understand what he said because the guy says, well, you don't have a hernia, you have a sports hernia. The fuck is a sports hernia? Like, honestly, have you guys ever heard of a sports hernia? Like,
I've heard of them, but like you, I don't know the difference.
From what I know of a hernia, it's either a hernia or it's not. Like that's the extent of my knowledge. So, he sends me to physical therapy. I'm like, all right, I'll go to therapy. So I was still working at the time. Like I took myself off road though, because I was like, I can't do all this walking every day. I'm touching things more. My balance is off. I'm like, I'll do all the office stuff. So I was going to therapy like on my lunch breaks, and at therapy, I was complaining about my balance. Like, I'm like, why can't I do this balance sport anymore? Why do I have to touch these things? Why is this? It helped my lower back pain and like the groin pain. And they were more focused on it being like a pinched nerve, which makes sense because I worked physical labor jobs my whole life. So my lower back is a mess anyways. So my only question for that was usually with the pinched nerve, it usually only goes down one leg, like one leg's bag. Like both of mine were. So I was like, we'll see, whatever. But finally, my therapist, she says, I think you need to go see a neurologist. And I'm like, why? Like, this is probably April by now. So I was like, why do I need a neurologist? She's like, I think you might have MS. And my question to her was, what is MS? Like, what is that? I don't know what that is. And she kind of gave me a quick rundown, multiple sclerosis. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I guess. So I went to a shitty neurologist in Flint because that's the only one they have. It's not an MS specialist. He did get it right. Like he diagnosed me quickly, correctly, and gave me like good plans of what I should be doing. And he did say I would probably be in a wheelchair within like 6 months. So that was the knowledge I got from this first neurologist. And he was right. But he was also shitty because he took me off work immediately, but everything he sent into my insurance company and doctor and all that stuff said I was okay. Once I get diagnosed, I go off work. Fast forward 5 months, I lose my insurance. I'm finally in a new doctor, a clinic I like. I'm still there at the University of Michigan. Love it there. I got a great team, great doctor. He diagnosed me the same thing, primary progressive MS, which is, you probably don't know, there's different steps of MS. There's relapse remitting, secondary progressive, primary progressive. Primary progressive is like the top 10 percentile. It's the worst you can get. You don't ever go into remission.
Hey, congratulations, man. Nice. You got top 10%.
I know, man. That's what I told my doctor. He told me that, and I said, you know what? Go big or go home, man. Go big or go home.
I was warned.
Yeah, I know. You were warned. And I said the same thing to him, though. I did. I was like, go big or go home. So I have primary progressive, so I never go in remission. So every new symptom I get, I keep forever. So I've had some bad ones. Like I'm basically numb, chest down for the most part. Like the worst is down at my feet, and it gets a little better moving up, but it's not good. And so when I lost my insurance, I was still walking with a cane. It took me like a month to get all that shit figured out between my job, the insurance company, the doctors, everything. Stress is the worst possible thing you can have for MS. Stress kills you. So stress killed me. I lost my legs because of that. Like I was walking and then I wasn't walking. So in my medical charts, I'm a diagnosed paraplegic. Right there. Like I am a paralyzed individual. And the last 5 years now, I've worked my ass off to not be. And that's why I do as much as I do. That's why I talk so much, because I want to give those people hope. My target audience is usually, it's me the first year that I had it, because I didn't have anybody. I was completely alone. I didn't have a community. I didn't know who to talk to. It was just me. It was also COVID. COVID hit at the same time. I'm going through all this shit. Jesus. So I didn't leave my house for 4 months because I couldn't drive and I couldn't walk. And that was like the darkest time of my life. Like I didn't know if I was getting out of it. Like that's how hard it was, because not being able, like I could get out of bed and stumble to the bathroom, but that's about all I could do. And it was just fucking miserable, and it was dark. And luckily I got through it, because I didn't know if I'd be able to. Like I could have came out of it on the other side, and I probably could have became a drug addict, an alcoholic very easily. And I really don't think anyone would have even batted an eye if I did that, because of how fast I fell from being this big, strong, in shape guy to not being able to walk, not being able to drive. But luckily I got through it. I clawed my way out on my own, and then decided that, you know what, this isn't who I am. And what I had to do for that, though, is as fucked up as it sounds, like I had to kill myself. Like I killed my old self off and had to grieve the loss of my own life and go through all those stages of loss and grief. And once I got through it all, and it was a fucking bitch, not gonna lie, but once I got through it, the light bulb came on, and I was like, I don't have to be this. Like I'm gonna do whatever I can to come back. And that's when I started therapy. And I'm with that same physical therapist now. So I've been with her for 5 years now, and just everything I do is just to try to stay on my feet.
Is this the same person you do your fitness stuff with, or?
Yeah, she's the one that like made that class. We started talking about that years ago, because she wanted to get that class going years ago, but because of COVID and trying to get the grants and trying to get this, trying to get that, it took years. But she finally got the last one last year, and they've done 3 classes now. I've done 2 of them. She plans on doing 3 a year, but she's also trying to get 2 classes each time also. So we're trying to get this to spread, because it's all high intensity interval training. And it sounds scary as shit to even normal people, but for people with MS, it sounds even worse, because you get stuck in that spot where you're like, I can't do that. That's the worst problem. I didn't think I could do a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now, like even walking. But like the last class I did, like I did burpees. I did burpees. Like burpees are awful, but I did them.
Cliff, don't even do burpees.
I did like 6 of them, and I laid on the ground for 20 minutes afterwards, but I still did 6 of them.
We would do the same.
One.
It doesn't count if you just stay down, though. You have to get back up.
Adam, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 43.
Okay, so you're younger than me, but at roughly John's age, right? Because John, you're
46.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was diagnosed at 37, so like right in the prime of my life. You know, I had to work in a great career, all that stuff. I'm a pretty big guy now. John's like a little munchkin, but
we know.
All right, hold up. Let's not. I don't need both of you doing this crap. I've been listening to Cliff say this for years now, Adam. I know you say it too, but I'm not going to sit here and tolerate both of you doing it at the same time.
Well, since you're sitting in a chair, you might actually be taller than you are standing. So
I hate your guts right now.
I am so enjoying this.
But what I was saying is I'm 6'5", and when I got diagnosed, I was like 6'5", 240, big, strong, muscular. I lost 60 pounds in 2 months because my muscle just fell off of me, all of it. Like I got down to like 180. I put probably 15, 20 pounds back on since then, because I work out so much and keep myself moving. Man, I could have got blown away in the wind at that point. Like it was, I mean, being 6'5", 180, that's not much to you.
Well, let me get straight to the ignorant questions that I have, because I just don't know. So you were still I mean, by all accounts, young when all the symptoms started. But how, I guess the question is, when does MS, I mean, is this something, for lack of a better term, you're born with, or is it something that just develops over time, or is this one of those questions no one really knows still?
That's one of those questions no one really knows still. It's one of those, like I said, with a lot of people, they can look back and they can trace back and be like, oh, I could find symptoms 10, 15 years before this. With mine, like I said, there wasn't. But when I got my first MRI, which would have been in, let's say, what was it? March of 19. I had like over 30 lesions in my brain and like a dozen on my spine. And then the more I've learned over the years, they say it takes like 3 months for those lesions to form. So I had it for a long, long time, but it was just completely dormant. Like it didn't come out. And
okay.
the
I
more
guess
I've,
that's where I was,
yeah, the more I've learned about it, it's usually something like unlocks it, induces it, like something very stressful, something this, something that. So when in October, when I was down in Columbus working, my best friend, basically my brother, I've known him my entire life. We grew up in the crib together. He was more of a brother than a friend. He passed away right then. Like that was, I think that was what unlocked this and just set everything in motion. And there's a lot of people that have that. It could, I mean, it doesn't have to be a death. It doesn't have to be that. It could be a super stressful. It could be an accident. It could be a certain, there's something that unlocks it. They don't, you're not that ignorant because a lot of people don't know a lot about it. Like we still don't even know where it comes from. So you're not the only one. There's a lot of people.
With that, following up on what you said, you mentioned 30 lesions. Like, is that, I mean, for, I guess, a quote unquote normal person, that's a lot. But when it comes to MS, is that a lot?
It's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot. Some people, like, it's so different for everybody. Some people can have MS and they can have 1 or 2 lesions, but depending on where they are, that's what's affected. So even if you have 1 or 2, it could be in a terrible spot and it could just be your legs. And it could be, or it could be the optic neuritis. A lot of people have that. Like that's their first symptom, is it takes out their eyesight.
Is it usually only one eye they'll lose?
It's usually only one eye, yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
That just seems weird too, yeah.
It's and if you go, like a lot of people have done that, they'll go to their eye doctor and the eye doctor's like, you're perfectly fine. Like your eye is fine. There's nothing wrong with your eye. They'll look deep into it, and then you got to go to like a neuro-ophthalmologist that actually looks at the nerves and all that stuff. And luckily, I have not had the optic neuritis, because if I did, I wouldn't be able to see now because it doesn't get better. So, like, knock on wood, like that didn't happen to me.
So the number of, when it comes to the different levels, if you will, of MS, the number of lesions isn't as important as to location, I'm guessing.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. And the lesions, if you don't know what the lesions are, once they see a lesion on the MRI, that's already the damage. So there's nothing that can be done about it. The lesions are the damage to the myelin sheath, which is the covering on your nerves. So that's basically what MS does, is it breaks away those myelin sheath covers on your nerves, and then it doesn't send signals anymore. That's basically a layman's terms for it.
And with MS, it's one of those things where you kind of hear it's like, and again, like anything I know a majority from Adam, a bunch of other people that we've connected with on TikTok, and then like I'll do my own research and I go back to them and I ask them questions. It's funny, I'll read actual medical journals and I'll go, Adam, is this right? Just because like he's living through it. And it's always Adam sounds like he's being very diplomatic, but it's really just the case. It's like, is it right? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And it's just like, it's one of those things where the diagnosis, from what I understand, it's like they have to pretty much eliminate every other diagnosis before they diagnose you with MS. Yeah. So it's like you have all of this or none of this. This is what you have.
Yeah, it's not something they look for quick. And that goes back to like the insurance shit, because you could do an MRI and you could see that there's lesions and then you could know, but they don't want to do that because they don't want to pay for it. So you got to go through this and this and this and cancel everything else out first.
And that's I mean, it just goes to show how complicated it is out of the gates. And so, and Adam going through all that, I'm sure is a story he's told a million times. I'm sure every time he gets on stage to talk to all these places, this is a very normal thing they go through. And I use the word funny, but I use it loosely. Obviously, it's not ha funny, but it's just one of those things where so many, like you said, the different levels. Like we've known people that we've come across that have it, and they'll get bad migraines, but that's almost sometimes the worst you hear about it. And then you'll get other people which like can't walk for an extended period of time. You'll see it getting worse. Like the person who introduced me to multiple sclerosis, she was fine, was able to walk around, did a lot of stuff. And actually, she got diagnosed. She was playing with her kid. She fell. Her legs gave out. They said she wouldn't walk again. She retrained herself to walk, much like Adam's story. And now she's full time in a wheelchair years later, just because, like, I guess more stress, everything adding on to it and whatnot. And so it's a crazy amount of stuff, but like to know all that Adam is doing with it is that's the part that's just like honestly a holy shit moment. Because the docu series I'm doing, in which it's funny, Cliff and I were talking about this. We got a comment on one of our videos from a guy, Kevin Klein, we both know, totally random. I met him at a film festival here. Is it him or his wife that was an alum at Drury?
His wife, Trish. Yeah.
So they ended up out there, and all of a sudden I see a picture of Cliff and Kevin, and I'm like, how on earth do you know this guy? Like, I'm ashamed to know him. No, I'm just kidding. But but sorry, I was getting a little too serious. But like I just met him, and then like so he kind of listened to an episode and he commented on it, and he goes, would you ever make your documentary a series doing sick stuff? And Adam knows when I first started this off, it was a full film. And then it turned into a series just because I started meeting people and hearing stories like Adam's story. Adam's probably going to be like 2 features just because of how much he does. And then just knowing all about it. So it is going to be the series. But when I first met Adam, it was just like kind of talking about the documentary I was working on, just because I wanted to do it, A, because it's what I do for a living as far as photo and video, but B, I was just so eager to learn about it. And then getting to meet people, and then meeting Adam. There's people that were involved that are no longer involved. Some of them caused a bit of a stir, I guess we can say. But
Could say that.
yeah, and then just like
Gonna leave that one hanging out there, I guess.
Oh no, I'll get into that in a moment. The damage has already kind of been done on that one. But you just learn, and the reason I'm saying I'm going to leave it hanging for a moment, I'll get into it. I feel like Adam said, he had to kill off the old version of himself to progress as what he was. And I think what happens is people can't do that. People are used to like being social and going out and partying, or maybe they played sports or they had a career, and suddenly they're just homebound. And
well, I want to, yeah, it's funny you brought that, because I caught on to that when you were talking, Adam, and I want to kind of expand on that, the idea of killing off your old self, if you will. Like, what does that entail? In your mind, what did that mean? What was the old self? And then now what? I mean, I think we're seeing what the new self is when you're doing speaking engagements, coming on a shitty podcast like this, things like that. But yeah, what was the old that you had to kind of lose in order to get where you are now?
For me, it was, I was always a workaholic. I've been working, since I was 16, multiple jobs at a time. Like, that was my main thing. My second thing was sports. I played every single sport there is. I played them in high school. I played them after. I got into hockey for a while. I loved playing hockey. Still up until I got diagnosed, like, I was still playing softball. I'd still go play volleyball. Like, that's the stuff I miss the most, is the sports stuff. I remember when I was moving out of my apartment, I was on a second floor apartment. I couldn't drive. I couldn't walk. Like, how am I going to be on the second floor apartment? I had an extra room. It was a library. And in my closet, I was cleaning everything out as much as I could without being able to move much, a little bit here and there. But that closet had all my sports stuff in it. And that shit hit me like a ton of fucking bricks, man. Because I was like, oh, there's this softball bag. Never be able to use this again. Oh, here's my motorcycle helmet. Never be able to ride that again. Here's my hockey bag. Never be able to do that again. Here's my soccer stuff, like all of it. Because I had all the stuff. I played everything. I did everything. And that was before I had to go through all the whole grieving. So, like, that was one of the parts I grieved the most, was doing that stuff. And that was me. That was my identity. Working and playing sports, getting tattoos, partying, going to concerts. Like, that's who I was. And then I can still do some of that stuff, but I can't do the sports. But I found other ways. Like, I can still ride a bike. Like, I can ride a real, actual pedal bike, which I never thought I'd be able to do ever again.
They
I
had
can
you do
still.
that in the MS commercial
They
were there
did.
for, right?
Yeah, because they actually, I have a recumbent bike sitting right behind me, and we did some videos and stuff in here, and they're like, "Oh, is that your bike?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I got that early on, and I rode it a little bit, not very much, because when I first bought that, I couldn't even ride it because I would pedal. I could maybe do it maybe 10 minutes if I was lucky, but every time I pedaled, my feet would shake so much that it was just insane, and so I just kind of got away from it because it frustrated the living shit out of me, to be honest. But then I got more into therapy, and one day I just had a really bad day. I was at the gym. The girl I was talking to, like, basically dumped me, and I was like, "This is fucking dumb."
Bitch.
So I got home, and my dad's bike was sitting there, and I didn't even say a word. I just got up, walked outside, got on the bike, and just started riding it because I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna
Wow.
fucking see if I can do this, and I did. And I get, there's maybe 6 houses down to like the end, turn around. And so I ride down there, I ride back. And then when I came back, both of my parents were outside in the driveway, and they're like, holy shit, like he's riding a bike. And like, that's when it dawned on me, holy shit, I'm riding a bike. Like before that it didn't. I was just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it, whatever. So after that, I went and bought my own bike like the next week. And that first summer, I probably put just around my neighborhood. I went out of my neighborhood once, and I didn't make it back. I ended up on the side of the road, and I had to I had to call my neighbor to come pick me up because I just
Oh,
couldn't
no.
go anymore. And so I was like, I think I'll stick in the neighborhood now. But I probably put like 100 miles on it that summer, just randomly. And swimming. I had one of my old coaches at Fenton. I swam one year in high school. He opened up the gym for me, not the gym. He opened up the pool for me on Sundays, and he's like, "Come in, anyone you want. You can come in, swim for an hour or two, whatever." So it was just me the one day, and I had him film. Like I gave him my phone. I was like, "Hey, film this," because I was gonna attempt to dive off of the starting block like I used to because I've done it before. I did it in high school. It's been 20 years since I did it. So I gave him my camera for that because the only reason was because I thought it was going to be hilarious because I was going to fall in the water like 6 times. Like I thought that was going to be like great social media content of just watching me making a complete fucking ass of myself, right?
Honestly, that's what I was waiting for this
I
story to go. So I'm
Me
almost
too. That's what I thought I did, but like I got on, I jumped, and I just fucking nailed it. And like swam all the way across the edge of the pool, everything. And he filmed the whole thing, and he stopped recording, and he looked at me. He's like, "Dude, you still got it." And I was like, "I know, man. I thought that shit was gonna be funny. Like I thought I was gonna fall like 5 times." So like I'm not afraid of trying stuff and failing. Like my
That's
goal
huge. Yeah.
this winter, which unfortunately I didn't get to do, was I wanted to see if I could actually skate again. Like I wanted to get out and see if I could skate. I figure I have the strength. I don't have the balance, but I got the stick, so the stick can help like a walking stick. I use it anyways. So I
I'm
figured that would
sure
work.
enough you can use me as like one of those penguins.
Yeah, yeah.
Kids
We
who-
just yeah. We just didn't have the ice this year to do it. Like I was just gonna do it on the pond or whatever, but we just didn't have it. But I still plan on it. And I was gonna make that something comical too. Like I was gonna wear all my pads, of course, so I didn't hurt myself. But then I was gonna tape like my grandma's cushions all over me with duct tape, Because it's
That'd
one
be
of those
hilarious.
things with that. It's like I know I'm gonna fall. I know I will. But I'm gonna keep getting up and I'm gonna keep trying it. And if I can skate a little bit and take like a shot on goal, like I think it's a win. So hopefully next year I can do that.
That's kind of like exactly where I was going with the whole thing. It's like Adam is out there and actually trying it, and if he's trying it and failing, like it's even for the failures, there's disappointment in it. But it's like, look at me, I'm still actually giving it a shot. But for the people that caused a muck with us, and that start things, I'll believe. I say this all the time. Is like I truly believe these people. Some of these people, they're not shitty people. I think they just are not used to this life, and they have all this. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's
That's where that came from.
I got my shirt on the way, but I think they're just people that were so used to doing so much. And now they have all this pent up energy, and it just turns into, like anybody else, it turns into anger and frustration, and they want to start problems and drama. And the Cliff, to fill you in, I think I told you about this before. I have my fundraiser for the film. The fundraiser was started to basically just pay for the travel portion of everything, hotels and gas and stuff like that. Cause I'm just not a huge fan of staying in other people's places, especially with all the gear and stuff I'll have. But so I had that, and I told one person privately that he was no longer going to be in the film because of comments that were just not. It would represent very poorly on the rest of the community, because he was a very popular person, especially through TikTok with what he had. And I had a conversation with him privately. It wasn't like I was making it public, not like outing him. And then he took it public and just started a whole riot. And then there was reports against the fundraiser thing that they did to try and make it look like it was like not a real thing. So I had to like pay for lawyers to like basically say, no, it's a real thing. And so like there's other people that'll just start drama in their own ways of talking trash or talking behind people's back. Adam's the funniest person when it happens, because you'll ask Adam a question and be like, did you hear? And Adam will be like, nope, I don't want to. Like, he stays so far away from it all. But I think that's just a transfer of energy.
Yeah. And I just make jokes about it, like that toxic positivity crew. That's where that came from. I birthed that because somebody kept calling me toxic positive. And I was like, first off, I don't think those two words go together. It doesn't make sense to me. But like, secondly, I'm not even positive about this disease. I fucking hate it. Like, and I'll say it all the time. I think it sucks. I'm just really stubborn, and I don't let it get me. I'm not positive. I just don't give up. I mean, if you want to take it as positive, cool. But if you take it as toxically positive, I don't think so, because I do what I need to do to not be stuck in a wheelchair and not be bedbound. That's why I do what I do. And I try to get other people to do that too.
Yeah, and at no point are you ever a person that's like, all you have to do is try and you can do it. And they'll try and accuse Adam of being like this mind over matter person. And it's like, just go stand outside and put your feet in the grass and God will help you do this. And it's just like, oh my God, dude. It's like, no, sometimes there are things that nature is not going to help you with.
Go to your local Tractor Supply store and get some ivermectin, and it'll cure you.
Yeah, they've transferred the use of that, Cliff, from COVID to now MS.
We're going to start injecting Windex too.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I get it. Like, nobody wants to be pumped full of pharmaceuticals. And my favorite is when people from other countries start knocking, say, Big Pharma. I'm like, your medicine's free. Like, over in the UK, the pharmaceutical companies aren't profiting crap over there where their healthcare is free. And granted, here, there's a problem with all of that. Like, so, Adam, you get infusions, right?
I do.
So, how, every 6 months?
6 months.
Enlighten Cliff, if you were to pay out of pocket for this, what would your bill come to every 6 months?
Every 6 months, my last one was $91,000.
Wow.
Yeah. There's people posting their invoices from hospitals reaching up to like 160,000 per 6 months just to stay alive.
Just to stay alive, yeah.
And that may be about to get worse, but
yeah.
I was about to jump onto John's thing when he was talking about the doc and how people were coming after his GoFundMe. Like, I got lumped into that too at the same time, because I do a lot of fundraisers for the Walk MS, for the MS Society. My team has raised, at this point now, I think it's over the last 5 years, we've raised over $70,000.
Nice.
So it's gone pretty well. I went on a couple road trips during this time. I got accused of not giving all that money to the society and using it to fund my road trip. So this is the same time that John was going through his shit. Like, I got lumped into that too, saying that I'm doing all this for me, and that's what caused me to, go on my road trips, because I funded it by fundraising for something that I didn't do. And it's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like, it's just, you're just, especially for me, not having MS and the friendships I've made with people that have it, and me still not even wanting to attack the people that are no longer friends. Like, again, I can't relate to what they're going through. I just rather not deal with it. But like, it's a transfer of energy, and it's a shitty thing to be going through, but it's wild to go after something that it's like, hey, listen, I'm trying to do this to bring awareness to your thing. I'm by no means any kind of like on a high horse. Like, I'm just fortunate enough that this is what I'm good at as far as doing video and making things like that. and why not feature some people really going through it? But so the project was delayed, what, Adam? Probably a little over a year,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
And but yeah, Adam does the fundraising thing. That's kind of the next thing I was going to kick into. Like, he does the walks. He had a bike run. That's actually the shirt I'm wearing right now. May the 4th be with you bike run thing, and Adam knew to put that in front of me because it's Star Wars, so he knew I was going to buy it.
It just happened to be on that day, man. I had to go with it. The other shirt's even better. It's a Yoda, and it's flipping you off, and it says MS with the wrong MFer you did.
Yeah. And that's Adam's whole thing is MS with the wrong MFer, which
that's like this is like my regular logo.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad I was about to ask you guys before we started recording. You mentioned you're wearing the shirts, so
yeah, that's my right. This is actually on the back of those shirts.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. And that logo is pretty cool. And it's, I mean, now that you've talked to Adam for a little bit, that's definitely the personality of him. Like, and then it's funny because like Adam makes light of it. That's where we're talking about the really dark jokes that we're not going to repeat on here. But like Adam's friend, that's also his tattoo artist and one of his closest friends, also made like a fake AI interview with him. And the AI thing I just listened to is so ridiculous because it's like good. The voice doesn't really sound like Adam, but at the same time, it's like talking about things I've heard Adam say, but just so disgustingly positive.
It's so funny because that's what I said to him. I was like, it's good. Like the actual verbiage is good. Like it sounds good, but it sounds like I'm trying to sound like a nerdy white guy. Like that's what it sounds like.
And it's just funny, but so many people have now like followed Adam because of how much he's doing. He had, like you said, he had the National MS Society came to his house to film and take pictures and stuff. And they were showing off his tattoos, his ridiculous tattoos.
Ludicrous
tattoos and
bizarre.
What was your hair? Well, I don't know why I can never remember that. I've heard the story.
This was a real comment, Cliff. So I did a big talk at a local college. It was just me talking about my story. I talked for like 40 minutes, and then we did probably about 40 minutes of question and answer. There were like 35 people there, but there was like almost 100 people on the live stream. So it was a good event. That was the first big talking event I did. But I was looking at the comments on the YouTube video afterwards, and this lady came on there, and first off, she completely bashed the music that John used to put into it. So I had John edit it for me, and he put some music in, and she's like, "How dare you to choose this type of music? Don't you know I have MS? How dare you do this to me?"
I didn't know that was the same thing. I didn't realize it was the video.
It was the same. It was the same lady. So then she goes on saying, so another comment she puts is, she's like, what you're saying is wonderful and like the words are awesome. I think it's great you're doing that, but I can't get over your ludicrous full body tattoos and bizarre hair. She's like, I claim to be very progressive, but I had to listen to the rest of the interview with my eyes closed.
That claim is going
very progressive. Very progressive of you.
This is the Yelp review that's going to make Adam famous.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of your speaking engagements and stuff like that, I want to go back a bit too, because you mentioned when this was all first starting with you, not having that support system, not having that person. Well, first of all, when it comes to friends and family and all that, what do they need to be aware of at the early stages when there's so much uncertainty? You haven't even been diagnosed yet, but there's so much uncertainty. I would think it's, believability for starters, that yes, something is more than just, hey, I'm sore, or, my back's hurting me a bit, that kind of stuff. But two, other than obviously, hopefully introducing 2 subscribers to John's channel, to your story, but, finding that support system for themselves, like what would you recommend?
Support system is, I can't talk about how important it is. I started off in doing yoga is what I started off with. And I remember my therapist gave me the flyer for it. It was Yoga Moves MS. It's actually based here in Michigan. The lady that runs it, her mom had MS. That's why she started doing it. And she just does it all it's nonprofit. It's donation based only. So if you can afford it, cool. If you can't, cool. You can still do it. I started doing that. I put it off for a year because I'm like, I'm not doing fucking yoga. Why am I going to do yoga? But I did. And then I met other local people. It was still Zoom because it was still the COVID era. So it was all on Zoom, but I got into different support groups. And once I started talking to people that had it, it made so much more sense to me because you don't have to over explain it to them. Like you say one thing, like
Yeah.
I'm fatigued, they're like, I get it. You say that to a normal person, I say, and
Yeah, yeah.
they don't understand it. You have to like over explain it all, and so it's just a different world. Like I know
We get
I'm
more
on,
fatigued trying to explain it.
yeah,
Well, let me ask this too. Let me ask, because I think this goes into a broader conversation, because we're, we joke and all this, but we're three dudes here, and us men are known for not wanting to reach out like that, whether it's mental health, whether it's anything. How hard was that? Or was, because of your situation, became pretty easy pretty quick because you needed info?
That's what it was for me. I didn't really have that time to be like, oh, I can just write this off. Like I didn't have that. And I think my parents are wonderful. My parents are amazing. I had to move back in with them and all that stuff, and they've been amazing. They never questioned it, like questioned me if it was real or not, because they knew me and they know I don't go to the doctors. They know if I say something wrong, something's wrong.
Right.
Like they're not going to question it just because of my past and how I just get through everything. Like sure, I put it off a little bit, but then once it got real, I was like, I should probably get this looked at, and this is just weird. And so I didn't have that issue. But like you said about the mental health stuff is I didn't have a choice. I did have a choice, but the other choice wasn't an option for me. So I really didn't have a choice. Like I had to do whatever I had to do to get better. And as much as I preach the physical aspect of it, the mental aspect of it is just as important by far, because if you're not mentally strong, you are not going to be able to do it physically. You won't. You have to, your mind's got to be right first. And that's why all the shit that gets talked about me, I laugh it off. I make jokes about it because that doesn't even bother me or concern me because I have much bigger issues that I need to deal with. Like real life issues that I'm trying to fight. Like I'm trying to stay walking for as long as I can. And with the nature of the disease and how aggressive mine is, I know there's going to be a day that I won't be able to. So I have to do as much as I can now. And then once that happens again, I'll just have to figure something else out. So I just do as much as I can now because I can.
What a perspective. Like you're just trying to get through to walk as long as you can. Like that's as much as I talk to you guys, especially like you and there's a group of us that talk pretty regularly, like me, Adam, Mike, Jen, Becky. I know I'm forgetting people in there. In fact, I use
Ray.
these
Don't
guys.
forget about Ray.
I heard about Ray.
Don't forget about Ray.
I actually, it's funny because Cliff knows very well about my concussion history in hockey and stuff like that. And Cliff is a hockey player as well. He knows like these things can just riddle you. So my whole thing now is like I'm friends with people in MS, so I forget things.
We were literally just talking about this earlier today. The fact that I can't. He was asking me about former players. Like this isn't working. I don't know.
So you can, now that you know Adam, you do what I do. Just be like, I have friends with MS. I don't remember.
Yeah, he uses us as an excuse for sure.
Right.
All the time. You know what though? I've never once had anybody get mad about that. So they've actually all been great with it this whole time. So they're enabling me, if anything. But yeah, what a perspective. It's like I'm just trying to walk a little bit longer, and I'm just like, oh man, like it puts like some of your issues into perspective, and not that means any of your issues aren't valid. Both of you know I'm very big into the mental health stuff, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, well, I can get through this today. Especially like there's a lot of things. You see Adam will go around selling these sponsorships. Do like 10 miles walking in a day in the warmth and the heat, which by the way, for people with MS, heat is the ultimate enemy. I can't speak.
Yeah, John. So let me tell this story.
Yeah, let John stop.
I was talking about like how much my legs hurt and all that stuff and how painful they are. And this fucking idiot over here goes, why don't you go get in the sauna? It'll help you out.
No.
Our friend Becky says, "Will you please not kill my friend?"
Again, like our legs are hurting. Sauna and or the ice bath, sure. And it's like, Adam, go in the sauna. Let's finish you off. And anybody who knows me knows my typos are epic, and now I have speaking typos, which we've labeled tacos.
We call them tacos now.
Yeah, I just can't.
Tacos a whole other thing now, though.
Tacos.
Yeah.
No, that's my new problem. But now I want tacos.
That's a whole other political thing now.
Yeah. Well,
Jesus, is it really?
I would
These
actually,
are tacos. Talko. That's the difference.
Tacos. Okay.
Tacos.
All right.
yeah,
I
like
got you. I got
mistakes.
you.
Like typos, but
We-
they're tacos
John-
now.
John, I apologize. We promised we weren't going to get political here.
I mean, hey,
Can't
No,
avoid it, really. You
Yeah,
can't.
I know.
You just can't.
It's just scary stuff these days.
It
All
is.
that, and actually, I mean, considering especially with Adams what he's going through and a lot of
Yeah.
people, like I worry about what cuts are coming to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah, yeah.
there's people they already have like so people that have MS have one of the hardest fights as far as getting disability, and I think a lot of people are dealing with a battle getting disability just because people are trying to get it for the most minute things. So I think and actually a good way the government's made it harder, so it goes to people who are deserving, but at the same time like the people who actually need it are just like, man, stop screwing me around. Like people have to get a lawyer just to get disability when they can't even walk to the lawyer's office to talk to them and stuff like that. So it sucks, and they have to go through so much with all that. But like,
And then it goes to the point where, well, this happened to me. So I was on long-term disability through my job for 5 years. I'm not anymore. And because of everything I was doing, like I was riding a bike, I was going to the gym, I was doing all this stuff. Like my insurance company sent a PI after me and was following me around. And then I had to interview them, and they were trying to claim that I wasn't disabled anymore because I was doing stuff to actually better myself. And I fought that. I fought that for like 9 months. I had to fight that, of just the constant emails and calls and them saying they need more information. They need this. I remember one of them, finally, I just got fed up and I called them. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm sick of hearing from you. The last thing I got was, we need more information from your cardiologist. And I was like, first off, what does my cardiologist know about MS? How is that going to help you at all? I gave you all the information from my neurologist, everything possible. What does my cardiologist know about MS? Secondly, I'm 40 years old and have a cardiologist.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a bit of a signal.
I'm every time I go in there, I'm the youngest one by 30 years. Like it's like, isn't that a signal?
Right.
Yeah, you walk into a room and it's a bunch of cookies in there. It's just like all these super old senior. Don't look at me like that, Cliff. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say
Bunch of cookies. The fuck
Off.
You know what's funny is I always wonder if people were to ever catch a clip we put out there and I keep talking about cookies, they're gonna be like, this dude is so fat. Like all he talks about is cookies, and I don't realize I'm talking about Cookie, like the actual human being Cookie. Because
Who is fat, by the way?
no, we're not talking like that here. That's not. We're gonna be toxically positive. Over here.
I'm
for all of
toxically
this.
obese.
Oh God. But okay, so we're not getting around it. Cool, thanks, Cliff. But but yeah, it's kind of a just a never-ending thing. And as far as like to tag along to Cliff's question there, as far as support, Adam's on TikTok and answers a ton of messages, almost all of them. He's also on Facebook answering people all the time. That's actually, I don't even think I have Adam's number. We never actually text each other. It's always through WhatsApp or Facebook. And then, but also like we were both off TikTok for a while, and for no other reason other than the fact that we just kind of everyone drifted from it. But we're back there, and we do go live on TikTok. Cliff, you got to get into these because that's where it's really unhinged.
It is extremely unhinged.
And but we all get in there, and it's just
now.
like it's a place to just go and hang out. Like Adam has a huge crew. I was in it, but mine never works. Where they all go and play Mario Kart. Like a bunch of people with MS play Mario Kart. Actually,
That's
Becky
hilarious.
did this awesome thing where she would do fundraisers to buy Nintendo Switches for people so they could play Mario Kart with them.
We gave
That's
away like 10 Switches. That
That's
within
badass.
within 2 months, I think we gave away 10 Switches, and then that got brought into the bullshit too. So
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
good God.
Yeah, another good thing. But and Becky's another
God
one.
forbid
who's
you
been
do something
through-
good, you know.
Yeah, Becky's another one who's been through hell and back with this, and like she can barely eat any normal food, like almost allergic to kind of like everything. And without going into too much of her story, like definitely think it was a very traumatic event when she was a kid that probably started everything. And but like she was doing a ton for everybody and just catching flack. So now she's not even ever on TikTok anymore. Like she'll peek her head in there like once every couple weeks, maybe. But she got, like I said, like 10 Switches. I didn't realize it was even that much.
Yeah.
Like 10 Nintendo Switches.
That's awesome.
And they play Mario Kart. And it's a place, like when you play Mario Kart, it's a place to not go and talk about your illness. It's a place to go in there and just trash talk each other and watch Adam win every freaking race. Get a life, you loser. Like, stop being so good at Mario
Hey,
Kart.
you know, there's a reason I got really good at that game. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah.
So, a couple of my real close friends, this is probably, fuck, how old's their kid now? 16? This is probably 17, 18 years ago now. They got married. I'd known them since college. I knew the one kid since like elementary school. So it goes way back. They got married. I had just had knee surgery before that. So I was at their wedding on crutches. They went on their honeymoon and they were like, hey, you know, you just had knee surgery. We're just going to let you borrow our Wii. It was a Wii at the time. So they gave me the Wii. They gave me a bunch of games. What they didn't give me was a nunchuck. You know how I had that nunchuck, the other controller?
Oh, yeah.
So I couldn't play a lot of the games. So I was laid up with knee surgery, and all I could play was Mario Kart. So I just played Mario Kart nonstop. And then once the Switch came out, it just transferred right over, and I am extremely good at that game.
It's to the point where Adam will finish, and I'm like, I have another lap, and it's only 3 laps. Like, but mine rarely works. But yeah, Becky did awesome stuff with that, and then like there's Mike. Mike, which is like based out of Jersey and just like obsessed with like the whole not obsessed, but like a huge fan of the Jay and Silent Bob stuff and Kevin Smith movies and everything. It's like the crowd that still is around is awesome. But I don't want to discourage new people from reaching out. Like anytime I meet somebody with MS, Adam's the information I give them.
And like
Every
as much
time.
as we went away from TikTok, TikTok is a great place for the MS community. It really is. I'm really glad I got involved in it because you can go on there and almost any time of the day there is somebody live talking about MS and you can get in there, you can ask your questions, you can do that stuff. I got away from it because I don't like talking about my MS all the time. I do it, but I do it on like I'm not just going to sound like a brag, but I do it on bigger stages. You know, I talk about it like in speeches and this and podcasts. Like when I'm doing that, I just want to joke around, goof off, talk with my friends. That's what I want. But if that's what you want, there are people that you can go talk to and you can connect with. And if I am on some lives and there are people that are reaching out and looking for people to talk to, I am the first one that says, hey man, hit me up. I'll tell you anything you want. You know, anytime.
There is an argument to be made that social media is a bigger stage than anything. So
fair.
I mean, yeah.
But no, what you're doing is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
I actually, going into this, I forgot about Cliff's journalistic background. So I mean, when he first started asking questions, like, man, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He used to kind of do this for a living.
Yeah, but not on camera. I was a print guy, so I didn't have to actually have this fucking ugly mug in front of the camera.
See the negativity, man. Just knock it off. There's 3 handsome gents in here right now, just talking about
Cliff,
6'5" Adam.
Cliff, don't forget.
That is absolutely right. Yeah. So, a couple things that kind of just almost kind of wrap it up. A couple things that are in the works is it's a self plug, but Adam's heavily involved with this again, and we got questions about it with the MS documentary I'm working on. Like we said, started off as a film, and then I started meeting Adam and a bunch of people, and it was like, oh man, all these stories. I joke about it. I'm like, this documentary will be like 3 times longer than the Titanic movie if I just made it one film. If I really wanted to get people's stories out there, and the whole thing with the documentary, which I'll do a whole podcast just based around the documentary and different people that'll be in it. But I'm not focusing on the science. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the medicine and the doctors and all this other kind of stuff. I want to show what it's like for these people to live through these days with MS and
the humanity.
Like, yeah, honestly, just bringing the human element to it. The funny part is I tell everybody, it's like, I don't want anyone to ever have a bad day with MS, but I almost need you to have a bad day when I'm filming so I can really show the extreme of it and what you're going through. And everyone's like, oh, thanks a lot, John. But I mean, if they're trying to get the message out there, like they get it because everyone will see everybody on a good day. And
that's why
it's not that bad.
I was so happy that the MS Society, they came down to my class and filmed me there. And I got my therapist called me afterwards after we got done with the class and all that stuff. And she's like, I've been talking about you all day about how proud I am of you for like being that vulnerable and letting them film you like that to see, because I struggle so hard doing the simplest things at that class. And she was just like amazed by me being able to show that. And for me, I think it needed to be important, especially for like all the haters I get who think that I like am faking. I don't have it. Mine's not so bad. You know, I think it makes me more real, and not like I'm not real, but people just get this judging against me because if you look at me, I look like I'm good. I'm in shape. I'm strong. I'm this. I am. I am all those things. But I also struggle. The hardest thing for me to do is walk. That is the hardest thing I could possibly do is to walk. Every single step is painful as all hell. Like I'm in pain 24/7 nonstop. And I just have to deal with that. And so at least I think it kind of humanizes me when it comes out. So I'm really looking forward to seeing like what the final product is. And that's going to be like broadcast nationally all over the MS Society, which I'm super excited about.
Well,
That's
I got two final things before John kind of wraps this up, and I hope obviously keep pumping your tires on the series. But one, I don't know. You've mentioned this class quite a bit. This fitness class and all that for him. Can you explain that a little bit more? And then the last thing I'll have is like, what's next? I know you guys are headed down to Branson in August, but what else is upcoming? But yeah, talk a bit about
So this class, the one that Jess was talking about for years, she finally got the grant for it. It's pretty cheap for us. It's 12 weeks long, twice a week, so it's only $10 per class. $240 for 12 weeks of physical therapy, that's dirt cheap. But it's all high intensity interval training, and it's all built specifically for MS, so it's all dynamic movement. So you're almost always doing two different things at once. And the cognitive side of it too, because we all have cognitive issues with MS as well. So like telling your body to move a arm and then the opposite leg, sometimes we can't figure that out. So it's like it's mentally trains us too. And she has a set thing for us to do, like set workouts, and it's hell. I know high intensity interval training. 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, then switch to a different, it's basically 16, 20 minutes of constant work with tiny little breaks. It's tough, but she knows all the people and she modifies it for everybody. So no matter what your status is mobily, she will fix it for you. And at least you're doing something. That's the main thing. Yeah. There are a lot of people that are scared of it, and I've talked about it a lot, and they're like, I could never do that. And I'm like, well, you can. I thought the same thing, and I did. And now I'm doing stuff that I didn't think I'd be able to do. So that's what I'm trying to get people to realize is just don't be scared. Just try it.
Doing nothing has to be detrimental. Like you
agreed. I feel that way.
Is this something that's kind of already or is branching out nationwide, or
she's trying to. She actually used to work with Dr. Boster, who's a really big MS neurologist down in Columbus. He does all these YouTube videos. Like he's pretty well known in the MS world. She used to work for him, and she did it there years ago. But then she moved up here to U of M, and she was trying to get it off the ground, and she finally got it off the ground. And now we're trying to just get it to other places so they can start doing it as well. Because I feel like it's super important.
I got to think that term high intensity interval training takes on a whole other definition when it comes to MS patients, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's an athletic training right there. And you guys are doing it just to stay mobile.
Yeah. And you got to be like, how proud I am of some of the stuff that I do. Like I can jump. I talked about earlier, I did burpees, but I can jump. Like I only get a half an inch off the ground, which is more than John can jump, but I still get that far.
You can't fit an envelope under my feet.
I still get that far, and I'm super proud of myself for doing it,
So what's next? Like I said, I know you guys because John and I have talked about it, and then you mentioned it when John went off to do whatever he was doing earlier when you and I were just chatting.
So the next thing is August, I'm going to Branson for the Modified by MS conference. It's a nonprofit. Matthew Price, the guy that puts it on, he runs a bunch of different groups on Facebook. He's got a Men with MS group. His wife, they run a Overcomers group, which is like a newbie group. They have a women's group. They have like groups every week that you can go to, men, women, couples, whatever it is. But they did their first conference last year in Nashville that I went down to. Got to meet a bunch of the guys that I've been talking to for the last couple of years, which is awesome. Now they're doing it in Branson. Super excited to be going there. And I plan on going anyways. Another guy reached out to me a couple months ago and says, hey man, he's like, I had primary progressive MS. I got out of the wheelchair too. He did it with nutrition. He drinks these shakes. He does all this stuff. And he's like, do you want to see if Matthew wants to like have us talk? I was like, yeah, sure. So now I'm actually speaking at it. So we're going to have the physical side of it. We're going to have the nutritional side of it. And then that's
awesome.
I think it's going to be great.
You just talked to University of Michigan again, right? An interview with them?
I did do that too. So that stemmed from the MS Society being there and filming. So they had their PR people there too. So they reached out to me afterwards, and I just did an interview with them. And that's just going to be, it's a blog. It'll go out through all the University of Michigan stuff. And that's mainly about a little bit about my story, but mainly about the physical therapy side and this new like TSS stuff that I've been doing, which I haven't even got to yet, but I can.
Is that the electrolysis? Not electrolysis. I don't even know how to say it.
It's, from what I know, it's
words are hard.
It's trans. There's another word I'm missing, but it's basically transspinal stimulation. It was made for people.
John.
Thank you.
It was made for people with spinal cord injuries, and the idea is you're sending electricity through wherever that break in your spinal cord is to try to send messages through it. That's what it's made for. Jess went to that class, that whatever conference, comes back and she's like, why wouldn't this work for MS? She's like, you want to try it? And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I do. So basically you got like a electric pad on your neck. You got two like on your like lower abdomen, and it feels fucking weird as fuck. I'm not going to lie. Like it feels like an electric woodpecker on your spine. And
weird.
I feel like I could shoot lightning bolts out of my fingertips. Like that's how it feels. It's weird as shit. But the results have been insane. Like when it's on, and the residuals, as I call them, once it's off, the rest of the day I'm so much better.
That's the big key, yeah.
I've done it maybe 4 or 5 times. When we did the class, that MS Society was there, they actually had me hooked up to it. And one of my buddies, Chris, he did the first class with me and is doing this class with me, but he hasn't seen me on it. And I talked to him afterwards, and he's like, dude, he's like, you are so much better with that thing on. Like, you don't shake as much. Your balance is better. You're this, you're that. So, like, them seeing it is like, holy shit. And as you can tell, I'm not speechless very often. So one of the first times I used it, she had me stand up tandem, one foot in front of the other. That's damn near impossible for me. Like I can maybe stand up for at most 3 seconds like that, at most, until I tip over, have to touch something. With that thing on, I stood up there for like 15 seconds. And I looked at her, and we didn't even speak. And then finally I said, what the fuck? Like, holy shit, did that just happen? And we were just amazed at the fact that it's changing this now. And she's starting using it on other patients now, and hearing their results of it it's insane what it's doing for us.
That's amazing.
How was your day after? Extra sore or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
No,
I wasn't sore at all after that. It's just the weirdness is when it's on. It's just so strange to have that woodpecker on your fucking neck.
But like you said, though, you mentioned the residual, and John's question there is, I guess the big key is long term. Like when it's on and it's functioning, that's great. But when it's off, is that doing still? Is there a result?
There was. So when I was doing this was right before I was doing my motorcycle run. So I would go to my class, I would go to therapy, and then right afterwards I would just go out and I would hit the town, and I would go to all local businesses. And because I'm not a guy that calls people, I'm in person. I'm going to go give you these flyers, hang them up. That's like my first question. But so I did that right after the class, and I just kept going, and I just kept going. And even walking out after a workout class or therapy, I usually rest for like 15 to 20 minutes there. I rest. I walk out, and then I walk to the vestibule, and I sit and I rest, and I'm very heavy on my walking stick always because I'm wiped out. And then I rest there for a little bit. Then I walk out to my car. These days that I use that TSS, I walked out directly to my car, and I never used my stick. Like I just walk.
Wow.
Like it's
I
fucking mind blowing.
About that the first time you did it, you're like, I walked all the way out to my car, and I remember you always talking about that.
It's mind blowing.
And speaking of his car, you use hand controls, right?
I do use hand controls.
So I mean, again, just the whole capability, and again, to be toxically positive for you. Like there, you can still live your life. It does suck, like without a question, it sucks, but still being able to live that life. And as far as Adam talking, Adam and I have talked about this before. Um, he I know, and if I could speak for you, Adam, like I know he's very interested in talking more and being hired for these kind of things because he's got a pretty extreme story on the whole thing, and he's realistic about everything.
It's an important
And
story.
and 50% of what he earns will come to me. No, I'm just kidding. But but I mean, it's an like yeah, Cliff. It's a very important story.
Yeah.
I mean, people with it, people have been dealing with it for a long time. Even with his his stupid hair and his stupid tattoos. Like, I
You
just
still can't remember what it is.
you have MS. I forget things. But yeah, he's just there's so much to be said about what he's doing, and just being able to, even if his story just gives you motivation, like it motivates me not having to deal with it. And then I'll be honest with you, Adam, there's been times where I'm just like, even if I'm just home and then maybe like you and I just talked on Facebook or something, or if like we have one of our till 3 a.m. Facebook or TikTok lives that we don't mean to do. The next day I'll be like, oh, I can't do this. And I'll be like, and then I'll look and I'll see you were active an hour ago, because it shows like the last time somebody was on. I'm like, Adam was active an hour ago. And I'm laying in bed right now. I'm like, I gotta get my life together. And like, and it is a thing of motivation, because it's like, you know, a lot of times people just need to eliminate an excuse. And if it'll do that, and then
That's what, like, sorry to interrupt, but like, my dad, my dad's turning 80 next week. He's old, right? He's always been active. He looks like he's only like 60, you know, because of it. He's still working on motorcycles, cars, all that stuff. But he walks every day. For a long time, when I was going to the gym, like I went to the gym religiously. Like I think I went to the gym for almost an entire year straight. I never missed a day. My dad would go 3 to 4 days a week when he was 77 years old. You know, he was going, and we'd talk to him, and he'd be like, you know, he's like, if you can do it, I have zero excuse. Like, there's no excuse for me not to do this. And a lot of his friends, he like listening, just hearing him talk to his friends, whatever, is like he's always talking about me and how I, you know, what I'm doing and how he's doing it because of me, and you know, other people need to do that. I love that. I love that.
Cliff,
Shut
we
up.
have to do it now. And you know what's funny though? There's a lot with it too, because like you said, your friend does the nutrition side of things. Like I know Adam doesn't drink, he doesn't do anything like that, and like I work, obviously I work for gyms, and working for a hockey team, it's just like, damn, it's like, so I still try and work out, but I'll admit my diet is just stupid garbage. And I love when people are like, oh, what you need to do. Like, I don't know everything, but I've worked in the business long enough. Like I know what I need to do. I just love pizza, even shitty DC pizza. Like I'm living, of all the places I've lived, this is the area of the worst pizza I've ever been in my life. And it's depressing, and don't even get me started on the whole food thing. Our whole last episode is about that. But it's just like, you know what you got to do. But then, you know, the discipline you're doing when you're, of all people, like people with MS or any kind of chronic illness are the first people that could be like, I don't want to do this. And no one's going to go, you have to. Everyone's going to be like, oh, I understand. And almost kind of take him with baby hands. But let me tell you, if you know Adam, and if you like, Cliff's now known him for 1 hour and 8 minutes. If you know Adam and Adam ever says he's going to quit, punch him in the face, because
Please.
that's not
Please
the
do.
Adam, and he'll appreciate it. And sometimes, you know, it makes you feel better to give somebody a good punch in
And
the
also,
face.
like, don't be nice to me, because that's weird too. Like, I don't want anyone to be nice to me or
And be like,
coddle
hey
me.
man,
Like,
I hope you have
that's-
a great day. It's like, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Well, the last thing I've got is, and I know she meant well, this is to that woman that had a comment about your hair and your tattoos and all that. And it's actually a legitimate comment, is like like every other disease that exists, it doesn't discriminate. So it's important for everyone to speak up, no matter who you are, and what you're doing is just, I've said it a few times, is amazing. So
Thank you.
keep fighting the good fight.
That's also, like, I think it's important for me to be doing this because,
Yeah,
first off,
I
MS
agree.
it's a mainly woman dominated disease. Like, it's
Oh.
like 70-30 about
Wow.
No,
around there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But
oh,
there's
yeah.
So many people, because
It's
of all
a-
the men I've met with it.
It's a mainly woman dominated disease.
Wow.
So, like, when I first found out I had it and started asking around about it, like the first thing you hear is, "Oh yeah, my aunt has that, my grandma has that, my grandma died from that, my this," that's always the first thing
do
you
hear a lot
hear.
about that.
And at first there's not a lot of guy perspective on it because, like Cliff said, a lot of guys aren't willing to talk about it. They're not willing to be vulnerable and open up about it. I think that's important, that I'm telling my story being like a younger guy, an active guy, looking the way I look, talking like the way I talk. I think that helps because I think it brings
100%.
in more people that may have been on the fringe about it, that were like not gonna do anything about it, but they may see me and be like, well, this guy's doing it, like why can't I do it? Like I
I'm
think it
sure that has
helps.
a lot to do with the numbers as skewed as they are as well, because guys are like, oh, I could get through this, blah 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 blah, and then maybe it's for a lot of people, it's unfortunately too late. Adam, like I said, I talk to you all the time. We're on live all the time. Please come and visit us on TikTok Live. Cliff, we're going to build you up and get you on there too. I know Cliff has his TikTok Live, and
I
there's
just
going to be
don't use
links.
it.
Or not live, but he has his TikTok.
Think about it.
Yeah, I tag you and everything for nothing.
Well, I just noticed you tagged me in a bunch of stuff actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just been a great place to like promote all the stuff that we're doing. It's been the biggest place where I've been promoting the docuseries. A lot of what we've heard here today will be talked about again in the docuseries. We're just going to have more in-person time with Adam. Adam's feature will probably be 2 days just because of how much he does. And then also being down in Branson, which no, Adam, before you ask, I've not called him yet. I have to because I keep forgetting. But it's one of those things where it needs to be out there more. I mean, there are celebrities coming out with it, like Selma Blair, Christina Applegate, are big advocates for it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Chris Pratt's father passed away of MS. I could be wrong on that, but I think. And then Cliff, a connection you will know, is member Bickle. Played for the Blackhawks. He retired because of multiple sclerosis.
I thought you were going to mention my, now former boss here at Drury in Springfield, his wife. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I forgot. I actually forgot you told me about that. But the guy who played for the Blackhawks. He scored, I think, the game-tying goal against the Bruins when Bruins lost the Stanley Cup. He had to retire because of multiple sclerosis, which is like the only professional athlete I know that had to retire.
Well, I know you're going to post all this. Where can we find Adam, and how can people help?
Well, I messed with the wrong MFer. That's my jam. That's my Instagram. That's my TikTok. Facebook was where I started out on, and that's like my biggest platform, I would say. That's what's grown the most.
Well, we're in our 40s. We're Facebook people.
We are Facebook people. Right?
Well, Adam gets kicked out of all the groups now. So
I do get kicked out of a lot of. I do.
That's my favorite part. Adam for like 2 weeks straight started every day with "got kicked out of another group today."
It is, man.
You'll appreciate this. Adam's very much like me. A lot of times, sometimes we just want to go and start trouble, and we'll just walk into a room and start all the trouble we could start. Unfortunately, Adam will do that in the wrong places and get
let this thing go.
You. The reason, don't just throw this on him. You do that too.
But like for me is like the reasons I get kicked out of those, like I'm not even doing it. I'm just like sharing what I'm posting normally, like what I'm doing, what I'm this.
Yeah.
Like the one group I run a newbie support group too. I do it once a month, 3 years or less. Anybody that wants to come in and talk, they can come in and talk. I do it once a month. I was sharing that out, and they like thought that I was trying to like steal their followers in their group or some shit like that. God. And they kicked me out, and they gave me some bullshit about, I had a moderator blocked, and I'm not allowed to have a moderator blocked. And I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. Like, how do I have him blocked? So then instead of like going back and looking at my page to see like all the stuff I've been doing for the MS community, they went back through and like looked through all my profile pictures and found a Halloween costume from 15 years ago where I was Mr. T, and then decided to call me racist and kick me out of the group.
Yeah. Ironically enough, so there's another podcast that Adam's friend runs.
Yes.
That it was his party.
It was his party.
Then he forgot about it until you brought it up while on the podcast. It's kind of a funny thing. Now, I heard from a certain AI generated speech that you apparently did. You were going to possibly start your own podcast, or is that something you've been thinking about?
I like very Possibly. It hasn't been a big thing just because I've been doing so much other stuff, but wasn't that like that AI generated interview was hilarious, man.
We need to find a way to post
Were
it. We'll
you
just link it
were
online.
you
somewhere.
were you a Yeti in that?
No, it was just voice. But like I said, it was like I was trying to have like the nerdiest white voice I could have. I'm like, yeah, I'm so excited to be here, guys. Like, I'm so inspiring, and I'm this, and I'm super positive all the time, and this is what we're gonna do. And I was like, holy shit, that's not me at all.
Donnie's the one who did that, right? Your tattoo
Yeah,
artist.
Johnny
Also,
did
like, your
that.
best friend. Please sync Adam up with a Yeti or a Stormtrooper, Stormtrooper. I'm bought in on this, and then,
I haven't even seen it yet, but we need more.
oh god, yeah, it's funny. It's such a small file. Like, he actually was able to send it over Facebook chat, so I'll be able to send it. I'll be able to send it over.
And it's
Um,
but like they nailed it. Like they actually nailed like the wording of it and everything
the
else.
information was great, but
it
it was just too funny. So like when we got on earlier and Adam popped in here before you did the other time, Cliff, and I was already laughing when Adam got on because I just
posted at the end of this show.
Honestly,
that's what I told him. I said you should just post this like as your interview.
So, but we're gonna put up a bunch of links at the end of this.
Perfect.
It'll go to Adam and of course everybody else. I also do, and Adam, please chime in on people I missed, but just some other people we talk to regularly, just to express gratitude and just like recognize you guys, like Mike, Becky, Jen, Ray, of course. I'm almost trying to purposely forget Ray now just to aggravate him. But there's other people that play the Mario Kart games. Like Maya is an 18. She's 19 now.
19 now.
Super young. She doesn't have MS, right? But she's got some similar.
She's got enough of other things.
Yeah, wildly intelligent too.
Oh,
like
insane.
She will school people all day. My friend Lennox that I play games with, she also does not have MS, but again, another person which is just going through a ton of stuff with the chronic illnesses. But these are all people I've met through these communities. And even people that I don't speak to anymore because of whatever, like I want these people to have the best of care. I want these people to be in the best of situations. There's people we don't talk to anymore that I tell Adam all the time, it's like, I really miss this person because like we would talk to them so much. And all I want to know is that things are going as well as they possibly could. Because that's the other kind of joke. We'll end on this. The other joke people go is just like, it's so hard when you know somebody has MS, it's so hard to go, how are you today? Because the answer technically is never going to be, I'm great.
I'd be that guy, by the way, just FYI.
Yeah, and it's a good intention thing. Like you genuinely care about how they're doing. And if you're conscious of it and you're thinking about it, Adam, by all means, stomp on this if I'm wrong. I mean, I guess a good question is like I try and do as much as possible. Like how are you managing today?
That's I don't get bothered by that. When people
you're the
ask
wrong
me that,
person because
I really
we don't get bothered by anything. If the things I've said to you in the last couple months are so horrific.
They are, but they're so good though. It's so funny.
I had to tell Cliff before we started recording on here. I mean,
I got warned.
Yeah, I told my tattoo artist about it, and she even chimed in, which was pretty outstanding. But yeah, it's. The sense of humor you have with it is awesome. The dark sense of humor you kind of have because you're going to be miserable every day.
Self-defecating humor.
Yeah, self-defecating because we can't speak. So, but please join us on TikTok lives when we go live, especially when it's us. It is never not fun. Cliff, you would have loved it. It was Mike, and then all of a sudden one night we were on so late we all ended up like going live from like we were in bed. And then we turned it into Pillow Talk with Dirty Mike and the boys. And now, most recently, it's Dirty Talk with Pillow Mike and the boys because we can't keep anything.
Don't say we. All of these were his mistakes. Every one of them. The first one was it started out as Pillow Talk with the boys. And then he just randomly says, Pillow Talk with Dirty Mike and the boys. And then it was Dirty Talk with Pillow Mike and the boys.
Yeah, wait for Cliff's shocked face with this one. But
sorry, this is completely off subject, but John will appreciate this as well. I just got a severe thunderstorm warning, 80-mile-an-hour winds potentially. John and I are both weather nerds.
Yeah,
I mean, living in Texas, there was a time where there was a funnel cloud. We lived together in Texas too. And there's a funnel cloud literally popping up right behind the house. Me and Cliff are outside trying to see it. My dog was looking at us from the doorway, going like, "What are you?"
I still
idiots
think
doing?
one or both of us tried to get on the roof.
Yeah, no, that was definitely me. And I couldn't. We didn't have a ladder or anything. He had that weird overhang thing that was not very strong too. But yeah, it's
Carport.
that's something for another day right there. Just
Like I said, it literally just hit as we were finishing up here.
yeah. But Adam, again, we talk to you all the time. I talk to you all the time.
Great to meet you, man.
You
This is
too,
awesome.
man. You too. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for coming up. We got to get Cliff on the lives a little bit more. Anybody who watches this, please come visit us on all our social media platforms. I mean,
Can I just say, by the way, John messaged me earlier about how we were going to kind of proceed with this podcast. And, you know, we're going to go to probably a couple days a week, potentially even 3 days a week. And he's like, should we do like 30, 45-minute shows? I said, we're not going to be able to cover all the shit we want to cover in 30 minutes. We're at hour and 20 minutes right now, and we could still be going.
I could shave this down to 1:15.
Yeah.
You guys say your goodbyes, and I'm going to finish with something.
Bye.
See you guys. Thanks
That's all
for
I
this.
got.
Stop being toxically positive, Adam.